Well, it's Monday evening. Hey there, Nick.
Hey, good to see you, David.
Same here.
Hello.
How are things in Louisiana? A little stormy this weekend, huh?
Yeah, we had a blue Monday, stormy blue Monday.
Yeah, we had some strong winds here. Not as bad as Oklahoma and Kansas, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you got to get the rain to get through to the sunshine. I guess that's the way it
Oh
works.
yeah, we got the azaleas blowing and all that good stuff. How many song titles can you name with Blue Monday in it?
I know "Blue Morning" by Foreigner.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few. Well, hello everyone out there, and
Yeah. Thanks for joining this evening. We're gonna do a shootout, live shootout. Nick kind of listened to this at his place, and he sent me the vinyl file version of Frampton Comes Alive, and I got it, and then I started to compare it as well. So this is the reason we're doing it. This is the 50th anniversary. Now this was originally issued on the 15th of January of 1976, about mid-year in my first year of college, actually. And we'll talk about this album and its history and the artist. And it's a seminal album. It's one of the I'm not a huge live fan of records, to be honest with you, but boy, the songs on here, when I later heard them from their studio counterparts, was like, gee, I'm really glad I heard the live first because they seem much better to me. I don't know if you had that experience, Nick, or
oh,
not.
absolutely.
Yeah. So Peter Frampton, he was with Humble Pie, right?
Right.
Of Smoking Hot and Nasty fame.
Yeah, true.
You know the album. And so he was a four-time album maker at the time this came out. So he
Yeah.
had four solo releases, and he really didn't get any traction on those at all. And so
He was
this was
honing
going
his
to be,
craft, let's say.
yeah, he was honing his craft. Well, yeah. So A&M Records, he had done some tours, obviously, and had taped some of the concerts. And A&M thought about, well, let's look at maybe we can do a live album. And so they got ready to do a single album release. And then after listening to some of the material and liking it, they decided to wait and have him finish his tour. And they arranged more recordings to be done in the field to add more songs to make it a double album. So it kind of evolved. So they kind of took a chance when you think about it a bit. They went into a 2 LP situation with a guy that wasn't getting a lot of hits at the plate, so to speak, and it paid off for everybody involved.
To which
It
we are
did.
all grateful.
Yes, right, exactly. Well, sometimes people stick their thumb in the wind and they go, this might work out, and sometimes they're right.
Yep.
And in this case, they were. Now, the album, once it was released in mid January of 76, was slow to take off on its own in sales, but the singles starting to come off of it are what really gave it the boost. Baby, I Love Your Way, Show Me the Way, Do You Feel Like I Do? Uh, Edited version, of course, on the AM radio because it's a 14-minute
Yeah.
song. But but so the album really got traction, and by April it was number one and got 10 weeks of number one between then and the fall, coming in and out of first place.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, I remember hearing it a ton, and it was, the other tracks were played a lot on FM stations as well. So, it was one of those that just seemed to dominate 1976. Sold the most records of the year. It sold 8 million total. And it was the number one album of the year, which for a live is pretty rare.
Yeah.
Pretty rare.
Absolutely.
So, and I don't know. I kind of think if it wasn't for this album, we wouldn't know that as much about Peter Frampton or know the name to be a household name as easily, in my opinion. I don't know what you think, Nick.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's funny that this album, after the first four, was the springboard for the rest
Yeah.
of his life, basically.
Yep.
Which
Yeah, it
was,
was.
I really believe it was honing his craft, and
No.
this album just
Well, well,
sprung him.
some artists, when they're live, they just have a different kind of energy. They
Yep,
just they're made for the road. And the thing is, when you think about it, there's a lot of money to be made on the road, and he certainly ended up being the guy who was the seminal concert guy because of this album. Hello, Lee Page, welcome.
absolutely. When it's funny you should say the energy that come from he is was has always been a full energy guy. My bride stated that when she went to see him, uh, he didn't just walk up onto the stage and or sashay. He ran and he was jumping up and down and he was putting on a show before he ever grabbed his guitar. He was just excited to
Yep.
be there, you know,
Yep.
which
Well,
is great energy.
yep, that's what you
And
want to see.
yeah,
Now, Lee says, and I agree, it's one of my top five live albums. Probably in the top three, easy.
yeah,
But what's funny about this, and I mentioned this in my video for members, is that this was voted on by Rolling Stone magazine, 50 greatest live albums of all time, and they put out a list, and this was number 41, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
Now, when fans did it, it was in a 2012 poll, it was number 3.
yeah. Well,
So that goes to show you.
what professionals know, right?
Well, that depends where their bread was getting buttered. I don't know.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, but so yeah, my OG was well loved. The rings around it can show. Now the album's very pristine for sure. There's a little white tag you'll see here. You can't read it, but it says Soundgarden, and it's got a date, January 20th, 76. So within 5 days, I got this within 5 days. Yours has ring too, right?
Oh well, that shows that it's a well-loved album.
Well loved
Yeah,
album. Yeah,
that's one of my
definitely.
two OGs. Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice centerfold,
Well,
legal centerfold. Doesn't get you in trouble.
what was nice was Vinylphile coming out with it, which was a surprise to me at least.
Hmm.
Grateful, but I hadn't really listened to that album in its entirety, and I couldn't tell you the last time. Maybe at least a decade, to be fair.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so when I popped it on to listen to it, the first, when I popped the vinyl file on before I started doing the shootout,
Hmm.
I just sat in my big chair, had everything dialed in, and I sat there with the biggest, excuse the expression, shit-eating grin, because it was just so fun to flash back to all those years ago, and it was like it was a joy to my ears. It really was fun to listen.
Yeah, what's interesting about the layout of this album, when you look at it, because of the way they oriented the picture, the spine is here. It
Yep.
looks like a top loader
Right, right.
because of the way they oriented the picture, but it's really a side loader when you put it in, but it works out to be a top loader. So I really thought that was cool.
Yeah, and after all these years, when you go to pull it back out, you pull it out like, wait, the sleeve's
Yeah,
on wrong, and then you realize, no, it's not.
I've been off 90 degrees my whole life.
Yeah,
Hey, Rick's good to see you. He said the late, great Steve Marriott with 2 R's and Peter Frampton's guitar playing on Humble Pie's performance album is another great one that he was part of. That is true. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a good point. He said he had a yellow Canadian vinyl. Yeah, Canada did a lot of that. They did it with Steely Dan. They weren't the greatest sounding, in my opinion, but he said the black Canada. Yeah, the TMLs, the ones that came out of Mastering Lab, those were the best. Uh, Performance was one of the last live shows at Fillmore East. Interesting tidbit. Bill Graham shut down the 3 locations only after a few years. Huh. Interesting tidbit. Thank you for that. Yeah. So some of them were not great sounding. Yeah. The Canada yellows were not. They were not. They were cut by I don't know who, but it was more a novelty, I guess I would say, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So the reason we're doing this, obviously, it's 50th anniversary, and this is the Vinylphyle version. Again, Nick bought this and listened to it, compared it, and then sent it to me to review as well. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate it. And again, we've got Joe Nino Hernes from the Mastering Lab doing the cutting on this one and mastering, along with the pressing, being done at RTI, Record Technology Incorporated, on this series. And I think it's a very well put together jacket, very firm, very, it's nothing cheap in it at all.
No,
Feels very good.
Right.
The vinyl's good and flat, and quality, in that regard, totally, as far as the record goes.
Yeah, I think it was done first class. You couldn't ask for more from a pressing from inside out and forward and backwards. It was done right.
Yeah.
Which is a reputation they're building on and have been doing since its inception, which is nice to see.
Yeah. Lee said he saw Peter Frampton in the 2010s and performed the whole album out in Cincinnati. Great.
Oh, how nice.
Was it at an indoor venue or an outdoor venue, Lee? Kind of curious. Did they use the ballpark or did they use an indoor venue for that one? Sometimes Canada was sent the metal work, so we have our share of RLs, for example. Yeah. But a lot of them, like you said, I think were just 1-to-1, 2-track masters, and they just dumped it off to the lathe, maybe not doing anything to it at all. Rick said he saw Peter live with Bowie on his Serious Moonlight tour. Now that's
it's a hell of a lineup.
It's a doubleheader.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot.
The TML was a little different than the Vinylphyle.
Yep.
Not
It was
disappointing way, but
no. They're both have their place. I'd say. We'll talk about that and the sound of the records and what's different about them.
Mm-hmm.
Lee said it was an outdoor venue, smaller venue with a roof. Okay.
Okay.
All right, gotcha. Bowie and Frampton grew up together, actually. Peter's dad was Bowie's teacher. Oh, that's interesting. There's your Trivial Pursuit of the day.
Yes, indeed.
Wow, amazing.
I always love what the gallery comes up with. They're so knowledgeable. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, Vinyl Beast has a lot of these. A lot of them. We'll have to get your assessment here this evening as well. What do you think? Because you have even more digital media on it than I don't even know that I have it on CD, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd have to scour
I always had it on album, for so long. I never even thought about getting it on the CD.
See, that was 76, so I wouldn't doubt that I have it on CD. I would just have to locate it.
Yeah.
Because I still do have, I don't know, a few hundred, I'm guessing 300 CDs or so.
Yeah, I've got about 1,100, so I'm swimming in CDs.
Yeah, it's going to take you a little longer to find it. Well, I also have 8-tracks, cassettes, CDs, and then the vinyl.
That's cassettes, but I don't have 8-track.
do we have a second just to chat what I had discussed with you about streaming?
Sure, go ahead.
I was feeling lazy yesterday, and I was the nice thing about streaming, when you're not comparing it to vinyl, sounds really good because when you're not haven't listened to vinyl in a few days, a week to be honest, you just kind of yeah, okay, streaming's cool, it sounds great. I got to the end of the album and Rune started playing similar music. I'm like, yeah, that sounds nice. I said, I had the Couch album. I said, wow, that's really good. And David tells me, you ought to, you ought to pop on the Atlantic 75. I know you have it. I'm like, yeah, you're right, David. You're absolutely right. So I got up off my butt. And I went and grabbed it and I popped it on. I'm like, oh my goodness, streaming sucks. Now, now my streamers, uh, when I purchased it, is probably about 8 years old. It was pretty good, top of the line uh, SOTM streamer with a Brooklyn DAC and all separates. A nice system for the time. And it
Yeah.
still sounds really nice when you're not comparing it to the vinyl setup. My vinyl setup, I don't believe, is a slouch. It's not a real expensive system, but I consider it a reasonable system. And yeah, that vinyl, that's that Atlantic 75 just blew it away in so many different ways. It was laughable.
You like that?
I said, honey, I said, I'm getting older and I'll have more days where I won't be able to, turn records. I said, I need a better DAC.
Uh-oh.
Yes, she did. She did not want to hear that, as many of you can sympathize, I'm sure.
Did you see
But
the comment here?
no. Well, and still lit friend. Yeah, right. Well, when you're having a physical problem day,
Yeah, no.
you don't have
We
a
get it.
choice. You want to hear music. Getting up and down just not your thing when you're having a physical challenging day.
But I've got to say, as it relates specifically to the Crosby, Stills, Nash Couch album,
Yeah,
there is no other version to have but the AP 2x45. I mean, it fixed all of it's a weirdly recorded album, and it just has never quite been right. And it just seemed like every area that needed tweaking got the right tweak.
yeah, because
So, I mean, you literally could throw all the others away.
you're right. Because I threw on the other one I had, and I said, "Oh no, no, never mind."
Yeah.
I didn't get to the first song. I'm like, "Oh no!" I said, "No." So, and of course,
Yeah, it was.
we're all waiting on Chad, Deja Vu.
Yeah, well,
If he can do to Deja Vu what he
Chad
did,
is waiting as well.
I know he is.
Chad is waiting to be able to release it.
But if he does to Deja Vu what he did to the Couch album, oh,
Yeah, yeah,
boom.
yeah, I know. It'll be something else, won't
Yeah, it might start climbing the charts again.
it?
I mean, it's a great album if you haven't listened to it lately.
Yeah, it is.
But
It
wow,
is.
if he can do what he did, wow.
Yeah,
Hats off to Chad for his work.
yeah. So, what I'm going to do is go through some discussion about what I heard, and then we'll go through the numbers like I do in my videos. One thing I will say up front is there are some songs that between the vinyl file and the OG where the difference was a little greater on some songs than others. So I just tried to average it, because they were different recordings on many of the songs at different locations. So, hey, our buddy Adam Tiro, how
Different
you
choices
doing?
were
Adam?
made.
Yeah, good to see you, Adam. Thanks for joining. So, so the numbers will be reflective of kind of that average of what I heard. But clearly, I've got to say there was a different feel. I had a different feel listening to the OG versus the vinyl file. And
Yeah.
I really felt like, there you go. Yeah, check it out. I really felt like it I was in the stadium. I was in the presence of the actual artist from a different perspective, given the two different records. And so I really was like, I say, really getting into it. Like, it really draws you in. And I kind of felt, let's say, with the OG, I felt more like I was sitting on the floor or on I was in that area where I was closer to the band and the instruments, hearing more precision and that type of thing. I felt like that with the energy level and everything was just top high notch on the OG.
Let's
Whereas the
reflect.
vinyl file felt like maybe I was in one of the upper boxes, the box, where they feed you and everything, and you're kind of out of it a little bit, but you still hear it very well, but you're not quite getting the same level of energy and precision that you are in there, yeah, when you're in the mix down below. And those, that was kind of the feeling that I got when I started A-being them directly. I kind of had like a feeling like I was sitting in a different place, listening to the
Yeah,
record.
I think part of that is like you saying being in the where they feed you and all that. Kind of, there's more reflective sound there than sitting down front in the middle. On the OG.
Yeah, the echo in the voice, his voice, and the I want to be careful not to call it the openness of it and the reflection of it
Right.
seemed stronger to me in the OG, and it felt a little walled off in the vinyl file, like it would be if you were in one of those box areas, where you had a little more acoustic treatment almost. You had a little more where the others kind of more wide open, right? It's hitting the walls, hitting people, and it really felt different. And as a drummer and a guy who listens to that aspect a lot and the cymbals and the hitting that, the OG was just really really crisp,
Yeah.
really on tap on
Right.
those cymbals.
That's what I meant by the lack of reflection there. You're
Yep,
getting it firsthand,
yep,
not a
yep,
delayed. Yeah.
yep.
I felt the same exactly.
Yeah. So it's a very different. It's almost like a little bit of a different experience, And it didn't say one is bad or whatever. It's more just they're very different in that regard.
Right.
I would honestly say that anybody who really has some issues with highs might like the vinyl file better because it's not quite as aggressive in that regard, and it's not over the top, but it's a little tamed in that, a
Yeah.
little buffered, not a veil over it, kind of, not that kind of thing at all, not that, just
But if your system's leaning on the bright side,
yeah.
the vinyl file, yeah.
Yeah, you may find that more pleasurable. But for me and mine, I don't know. I use Audio Technica cartridges, and I think honestly, Audio Technica, one of their characteristics is being a tad brighter. But I guess I like that. I guess that's. But I've heard stuff that's over the top. There have been records where I said the treble was 11 or 12. It was like way over what it needed to be.
Yeah.
So none of that really occurred here at all. So but it really gave me a different feeling of my physical orientation listening to them, and that's that ability to switch back and forth. You can get that much more than like if you put it on, play a song, and take it off and play
Right.
another
Like I
song.
was doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and use your muscle memory, to remember. But by doing that, it was like literally like I felt I was in different seats, in the arena. So just an interesting. So with less ado, let's go ahead and talk about the shootout, talk about what's on it, and get some numbers going here. So, no, I can't hardly read those numbers myself on my screen. That's pretty bad. Hang on here one second. Let me make sure I can see that.
Across the top, we have U.S. First Pressing, mastered at Mastering Labs,
There you go.
CML, pressed at Columbia, Terre Haute, Indiana, 1976, and it's going for $20. The reissue, UMe, 180 grams audiophile pressing, lacquer cut and pressing plants, details not provided.
Right.
2008. I should have sent my 2081. I mean, my 1981 to you too. I apologize.
No, it's
Uh,
okay.
that 2008 is going for $30. Then we have the reissue UME Vinylphyle series, 180 grams, mastered by Joe Nino Hearns at Sterling Sound, Nashville, Tennessee, pressed at RTI. This year, 2026, for $55. Okay, that's the setup. We
Yeah.
got the
And so that one's how much?
that was
How much is
$55.
that new one?
$55.
55.
If I got to say it
Okay.
again, my wife's going to come in here and give me
$55. Now 20.
55. She gonna give me 55. Yeah, there you go. Okay,
There's Andy B. Welcome.
good to see you, Andy.
Vinyl B said he beat him on his system. That's good.
Hey, if y'all don't mind,
Yeah.
could you hit that thumbs up for us,
There we
please?
go.
We appreciate it very much. It helps us out. You know that.
Yeah, everybody. Appreciate that. Yeah, we got a good group now. Okay, so we're going to go to the next slide. We're going to talk about the relative decibels. These were pretty close. I mean, the OG and the 2008 were the same. The Vinylphile was slightly quieter, not huge. 1 decibel's not huge, but
No.
it was enough that I had to make an adjustment for it. So that makes it, a little more on par, which is good. Quietness of the vinyl. My original is very quiet. Actually, I use SoundGuard on it, which back in the day that was for preserving the grooves, and the wear factor. I mean, it sounds new. It sounds like I never played it actually, unlike the cover. So it was fairly quiet, and so was the reissue. They call it an audiophile pressing just because it's on 180 gram. That doesn't mean that to me, but it was fairly quiet. But the new one was even quieter. It was really well done. So good job, Don McInnes and the team at RTI on the Vinylphile.
A moment on that. The SoundGuard.
Yes.
I was sent a duplicate by David, an OG. You recall what it was? I don't recall it. I think it was Sabbath. Black Sabbath.
Sabotage.
Yeah, Sabotage.
Black Sabbath Sabotage.
According to Bugs Bunny, it's Sabotage.
Yeah.
But, I looked at it, and it looked like it was well loved, and I was like, I said, well, we'll see what it sounds like. It sounded like I just opened the package. It sounded incredible. And I called David. I'm like, how can this be? This thing looks like it's well loved, but it sounds like it's brand new. That's when I heard first about this SoundGuard. And I could testify at least to my one experience with it. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm glad I put stickers on all the ones I did it with. But
right, absolutely.
But that was actually developed by NASA on an experiment they did for protective coating, and then Ball Corporation, who made Ball jars, they got the patent to it, and they decided to look at where uses could be, and they found out records was one.
Yeah.
So, and Last, a company called Last, L-A-S-T, they make a preservative, and it's basically the same thing as what SoundGuard was, because Ball got out of the business. Yeah. So I still use Last, so it's very similar. So, all right. Well, yeah, thanks. I'm glad you mentioned that. So let's look at the sound characteristics. We're going to look at bass, mid bass. I'm going to call on this one as opposed to just mid, because we'll talk about why I'm going to say that in a minute. And the treble. So the OG is very decent bass. Of course, a live album's not going to have quite the constraints of a studio capability, but very good there. As the mid bass was nice there, and the treble was top notch. I mean, the cymbal hits, and they were just so present and so like your stick was hitting the cymbal. You could just really, it was very precise, like your ear was where the mic was almost,
Yeah.
kind of feeling.
Now, for clarity's sake, uh, David, I don't know when you put these numbers in. Was it before or after you and I had discussed the albums? So is this directly just your opinion, or was there
Yeah,
company?
this is mine. These are my numbers.
Okay, and I'm agreeing with these numbers. I just
Yeah.
that's why I was asking. I said these look
Yeah,
like
no,
numbers.
no, these
Yeah,
are from my
yeah,
notes.
yeah. The OG's treble was just so perfect.
Yeah. The 2008 reissue was a little lacking in that area, and we'll talk about some of the other characteristics on it that also contributed to that. Now, the vinyl file was a nice 9. It was a nice treble, very present, not quite as crisp, I'll say, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, but very present and, fine, just not.
Yeah,
In other words, if you didn't have the OG to compare it to,
you're
you'd
not
probably
missing
say
anything.
the
Yeah,
sound just fine.
yeah,
And it does sound just fine. It's
yeah.
just that if you like that with a little more crispness, the OG brings that home.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm really saying when I make that comment.
And looking for an OG, most of them I imagine are well loved.
Yeah. Yeah, I put $20 as you could get one, and that's going to be a VG, maybe VG plus.
Yeah,
If you want one that's pristine, you might have to pay a little more.
yeah.
Um,
But
uh,
if you don't want to bother hunting one down, the vinyl file,
yeah.
just buy it.
Let's
I'm sorry.
see here.
Moving on. I didn't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt your.
that's okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry, Caesar. Thanks for joining, Caesar. Yeah, most OG
Yeah.
trebles are a little better. I think that's true. I think that's generally true. Let's look at dynamic range because that's where we started to get a little bit of difference there. The dynamic range, and we had
Can I add?
9.5. Sorry,
Can I add,
9.5, right?
can I add to the treble
Yep.
discussion?
Oh,
Yeah.
on the
Yes.
OG, we had 9.5. Now the reissue was compressed.
Okay.
It was heavily compressed relative to the others, and so the dynamic range was definitely not what it was on the others anywhere near. It was very narrow in its range, and so I wouldn't suggest that one at all. The vinyl file was very strong as well. It had really good dynamic range. Again, it wasn't that different in those kind of characteristics at all. It was just that the sound had a little bit less top end. That's all. Here we got another person that got the vinyl file. Yep, flat and quiet.
Yep.
Half-inch seam split on one side. Yeah, well, I didn't have. I don't think yours had. I think the record sleeve had one, but not the actual jacket. I think, Nick.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think there was a
yeah, yeah.
right.
Now we're going to go to soundstage and imaging, and we've got a 10 on that. And this is where that openness of that original with the vocals and the openness of it and the airiness of the vocal in an open live concert was more audible than it was in the vinyl file. It kind of, on the vinyl file, it kind of, I'll say it stopped a bit. Didn't quite get out as far as it did on the OG. And then the 2008 was even poorer with this, with the compression. I'm sure affected that as well.
On
So
on the OG, I'd just like to. What?
sure,
Oh, man. Lost Bob. Got to quote Bob Euchre for the OG. Must be in the front row because that's what that seemed like.
that's
Yeah,
yep.
and if you're
No,
not our age, you won't get that one.
yeah, yeah. Well, no, it just yeah. I mean, because when I was listening to words he was saying, and then the other one would repeat them 5 seconds later, I could tell
Yeah,
very quickly even the vinyl file didn't quite reach that echo or that openness quite
yeah,
the same as the OG. So I mean, the OG is just a hell of a contender. There's just no way around it, right?
yeah, yeah.
We came to the voices again. I think we're in the same ballparks here. Same kind of thing. The voice was very crisp, very delivered in a way that was a little more articulated, I'll say, than the vinyl file, but not in a bad way. Not that it was muffled or not that it wasn't clear. Just it
Right.
didn't quite have as much of the S's and the precision, and I don't mean semblance when I say that, but just the precision of some of the words that were used was just a tad better on the OG. And again, the 2008 is kind of a stinker on that. So overall, you can see we pretty well here the numbers kind of show that the voices, and then let me get the number here. Where's the next?
I'm wishing more and more I had sent you the 81.
Okay.
I'm sure the 81 uh, beats that 2008.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. So we got over 9.5 sonics on the OG and 9.17 on the
Yeah,
vinyl file. So I mean, they're both over 9, so that's highly respectable. And again, if it depends on this is what it is. But the truth of the matter is, if you really don't like it quite that bright, you probably will like the vinyl file better. It just has a different sound profile.
now
So
my system is bright a lot of the times. That's why I use the Muller tubes in my preamp now, and I didn't find it bright. I found it close to the edge, but I didn't find the OG bright. And the vinyl files definitely was great. I can't say enough that if you don't want to hunt down a pristine OG, that the vinyl file is just wonderful. I I,
did
I
you say
didn't.
Frampton was making a Yes album? You said Close to the Edge. You threw me. I'm sorry.
It was close to that edge,
Oh, that
exactly.
okay.
It
That is.
never got to the brightness I know my speakers can do
Yeah,
because I've had them for years. I know what they'll
yeah,
put out, and it tightrope the edge of it, but it never stepped over the boundary. So
yeah,
it's really nice.
yeah. So I mean, the obviously the best dollar for dollar value is the OG. Actually, if you can get a really nice, clean
Right.
copy.
Yeah,
Um, but the vinyl file is no slouch to pick up and enjoy as well. There's nothing at all that's wrong with it. So my new thing that I've added here is to say you might like it if.
yeah.
I think one of mine I did on this on another record. I kind of said if you like wasting your money, you might want to buy this one. But no. So let's see what we got on the top one. We got me saying, if you like crisp sound of the hit of cymbals and more in the crowd sound and feel of the full ambience of the stadium or hall, you might like this. If you want a full immersion of experience in sound and being there, you might like the original if that's what your preference is. The middle one, well, you might like this one if you like a more compressed. Thank you, Nick. You might like a more compressed sounding recording. I don't know why anyone would, but that's there. And on the audio file or vinyl file, audio file version, if you like a tad more body feel in mid bass and less of the crisp sound of the hit of cymbals and more of a studio luxury box sound, less of the feel of the full ambience of the stadium or hall, you might like this better. Still decent energy, not stuffy, just not quite as full on the floor immersion experience.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what separates the men from the boys on this one, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, it really comes down to what you like, the sound you like, and if let's see, we got a Vinyl Beast coming up here. What do you say here, Vinyl Beast? He ran this through his Thorins with the Nagaoka 500. Good choice, 500 Nagaoka. That and the 300. Good. Ear 834P tube phono preamp with Amperex Bugle Boys in it. You have the 300 stylus, okay? Yeah. Yeah, I had 300s. Yeah, the 300 and the 500 are respectable. The 110 I really didn't like at all. So, and he says, I like the way you put it. Okay, great, thanks. I mean, yeah, I tried to give you a more visual or a more contextual understanding of how the sound difference is. And they both have their place, that's for sure. Now, honestly, I haven't listened to this album in over 10 years, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so it was really a joy to revisit it. The energy in the record is kind of unbelievable, I think. I don't know. I don't know about you, Nick, but it was what is the dead wax markings on the original? So
I have it right here.
I think, yeah, well, my side one is a TML-S, which is the slave or secondary, and the other three are TML-Ms, which was the master cutter.
Right.
On mine. Now, this album on the original, on the first disc, has sides 1 and 4, and the second physical disc has 2 and 3. That was for the changers, where you could put one album, you could have one on the bottom and then put the other disc on top with 2, then flip them around and get 3 and 4. The new record is on the first disc, it's side 1 and 2, more traditional, and on the second physical disc, it's 3 and 4. So that was interesting in doing the swaps because I had to literally change the records. What you got there, Nick?
Showing the 4. Oh, let's see.
Can't see the 4. There it is, 4.
There's the 4.
Yep.
And we'll flip it right over. There's
the 1. Yeah. Yeah, so those were made. So those were made for the record changers back in the day. Not the money changers.
This
the
one,
record changer.
SP 3712 -T.
-T?
Yep.
The T should be.
And
yeah, 37. There were 3709, 3710, 3711, 3712.
Yep.
So you have the dash M. Do you have the dash M on all of them? They're on side 1. I think mine was an S for side 1.
Side 1 is an S.
Yeah.
Side 4 is an M.
Yeah. My other 2 are M's. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what mine were.
Yep,
right.
That's exactly right. Yeah. They were making a bunch of these, so they had to.
Yeah.
They were cutting them on multiple lacquer cutters, so.
Yep.
Could be a subtle difference.
They were printing money.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had the occasion to compare M's and S's, and they can be different with the same with the same exact side. Because typically it was obviously done at a different time. The setting should be the same, but again,
right.
Not even cut to cut can be different one way or the other. I mean, literally the barometric pressure in the room, if it's changing, can affect it.
As we learned from your recent drop, the interview with Fremer, interviewed, what's his name?
Bernie?
Fremer interviewed the, he was talking about barometric pressure and the lathe being on its own suspension. The video
the
other day.
Yeah, when he was on our channel, he talked about that. Yes, he did. But he did an interview with somebody about it. I don't know if it was Doug or who it was with. But the point is, there's a lot of variables that can affect what happens.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really the bottom line when it comes down to it.
Yep.
So I'd say, It's a very respectable release. The Dreamboat Annie, I thought you've got that one too, didn't you?
Yes.
What did you think of that one?
Uh, I well see. Uh, I hadn't listened to it recently, and I didn't do a side by side comparison. I sat back and just relaxed and enjoyed it. I didn't do a shootout on it, and having the one not having matching turntables as you do, it's a bit more of a challenge. Relying on your sonic memory in your mind, it'll play tricks on you. But it was wonderfully packaged, sounded great, spotless. I found no faults of the recording. Uh, to go more, I'd have to dig out my notes.
Here's a question from Lee Page. Nick, unrelated, that's okay. He's in the market for a really good pair of closed, I'm sure he means closed back
Yeah.
headphones. Do we have a suggestion?
Well, the Sennheiser 600 has been a standard for a long time. Reasonably priced, well balanced, uh, economical cans. It that comes down to that obscene question of how much do you want to spend? Unfortunately, but for an all round, the Sennheiser 600X or 600s are outstanding. That's the standard everyone usually uses, and either works up in one direction or another, because cans are like speakers. I was into them for quite some time. I'm still on a couple of forums about them. I have a few sets that are diametrically opposed. They're for listening to two different types of music because that's what their forte is. So
Mhm.
that also depends. And then once again, how many dollars and how much do you listen to it? Is it more than you're going to listen to speakers? It's going to be your standard for listening. Uh, to start off, I like the 600s. I know a lot of people that agree.
Hey,
Sennheiser
Chance.
doing products. Do it. Go to YouTube and look at their tour. They have a tour of their factory. It's pretty neat too. But
Sennheiser.
yeah, great
Yeah.
products.
AKGs. He was talking about AKGs, and then
Yeah,
Rick said
KG's another one. We're getting back
K241.
to what flavor do you want to hear?
Yeah, used headphones can be a real gamble
Yeah. Oh yeah,
for a lot of reasons,
Root.
but yeah, MDR. There's the one. There's the one I was going to say. MDR 7506. That's more studios use that than any other one out there. I mean, it's just yeah. They used to be called the MDR V6, and then this one was the cousin 75. That's what I use, MDR 7506. I mean, it's budget. If you got a lot of money to spend, some of these others are probably what you're looking for.
Yeah. For rock and roll, I use Focal clears, and for more darker jazz and darker rock, ZMF, and those have a wide variety. I have the
Mm-hmm. Different feel.
auteurs, and the rosewoods, the woods alone they use are not cheap.
Do you
But
have Do you have the Sennheisers?
no, I don't.
No. Okay.
You have to make choices.
No.
One
Okay.
set
I
of
just
yours.
okay.
Yeah, the I sold them and kept the focals.
Well, I'll bring mine next time I come. I'll bring my Sonys. We can compare them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's so much gear we hadn't experienced, right?
back in the day, the word on headphones, there was really only one brand, and that was Koss.
Yeah,
Pro 4As. I mean, that was the standard. They made a quad headphone with a driver in the back and a driver in the front on each side. Koss was really big back in the day. That's for sure. Um, but So there we go. Well, that was our lowdown on the hoedown for the Frampton, and hope you enjoyed that. The I'll be announcing here at the end of after we do our Name That Tune, we'll be talking about my new show coming out starting on Wednesday with Louis V called Chasing Better Sound.
Yeah.
And that's going to be much more about equipment. It'll be somewhat about sources as well. But we're going to start from soup to nuts, starting at the baselines of sound and what makes it and what our systems are like, and helping to grow knowledge and information about sound and the variables that can affect it. Because I think that's something we all need to realize, and most of us do in this crowd, of course. But we want to make sure that everybody sees it and has a evolving perspective from it. So, all right, I don't know, what time is it, Nick? What time do you think it might be?
Let's see. Could it be Name That Tune?
Yay, let's do it.
All right.
We're gonna do it. I got some new ones tonight too.
All right.
So I haven't seen Wyoming Dave here. I haven't seen cranberry sauce.
No.
Yes, it will be both new and vintage audio. Yes, it will be both.
Absolutely.
And I will cover probably more of the vintage, and Louis will cover more of the new.
Well, you are kind of vintage. Just lob that one in, right?
Yeah, right. Well, there are these words about fine wines, but we won't go into that.
Yes. They turn to vinegar. What?
Something like that. So, okay. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking at the ones I had last week.
Okay.
And
who's here? I don't. Well, looks like we'll have a few new winners.
Yeah, who's got the?
They're not here, evidently.
Well, who's high? Who's on the top number, Dave?
Let's see. Yeah, Dave has 4.
Okay.
He can go over the top. Caesar has 3.
Caesar has 3. Caesar was here.
Everybody else has to work for it.
Everybody else has got it. Yeah.
1 or 2. Yep. So.
Okay. There we go. I'm going to give you your first one.
Name that.
Name that buffoon. Name that buffoon. Oh, what a night! No, that is a really good guess given the intro.
Yes, indeed.
That is similar. It is very similar.
Frankie Valli?
It is not Frankie Valli.
Ooh.
Yeah, I never. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it never made that connection, but you're right.
Yep. Oh, what a night.
That isn't who it is, though.
No. Well, did we stump them? Have we stumped the audience?
I don't know. I thought this one was going to be
right?
Easy. Easy. That ain't no Frankie Valli.
No. Doesn't look like anyone's going to get it. Probably don't like the song
when I find out what it is. Okay.
Well, it looks like you'll be finding out next week.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give you a little bit of the vocal intro.
No clue, says Andy.
I'll give you a vocal intro here. Next one's going to have a vocal in it. Longer intro than I thought. Longer intro than I recall.
That's a heck of a vocal there, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah, it's funny how much time can go by.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No clue on that one. I know the band.
You know the band. Well, good. We're glad.
That's good.
Toto?
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
But not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I put the instrumental up. That's why the vocal didn't start.
Yeah, we play the whole song through.
No, I put up the instrumental
Right,
instead.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it just hit me.
Wait on the vocal. We'll play the whole song through.
Yeah, all right. Okay, we're going to let that one slip. The next one ought to be easy. Let's
Okay.
Let's see. Where were you guys aware that there was another audiophile version of that record released years back? Are you talking about Frampton?
I think he's talking about what's playing.
If he's talking about that 2008 that I have, they said it was an audiophile version, but I would argue with that. But
Yeah.
2008, there was one, they said. All right, here comes song number 2.
Oh, really? Okay. Kokomo.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's why I said, really? That one was easy. Andy G.
Okay, Andy G. Good.
That gives him 2. His tote board is up to 2. All right, Andy.
Woo-hoo. All right, Andy.
Absolutely.
All right, number 3.
Oh, slick, huh? Oh, yeah. Everybody should have it already. I love the Beach Boys.
Up to Surf's Up, basically.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Machine. No?
Good guess, though.
Yeah. Lee Page got it. The final countdown.
Countdown. We on our page. That's
There
a
you
first
go.
Lee.
Good job.
Right, Lee? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, wait, I forgot something.
Good job. Yep. Lee got it. Good job.
Lee's got
That's 3.
one. Right.
You can't listen
Sounds
to
of
this.
silence. I got it.
Sound of silence. Okay, here comes number 4.
Yeah. Okay. You're just giving them away tonight now.
Hey. Dave's not here. I got to make...
Yeah, right? Dave's not here, man. No, it's me. It's Dave. Steely Yand. Steely Dan.
Okay. Good start.
Yeah.
He retracted his own mistyping.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't making funny. I was just trying to read them properly.
Oh, okay. Yo, you... Okay.
Yeah, that was me on me.
From the first album, you are, man, you're zooming in.
Yeah, he's over the
Zoom in.
target. Bomber to bombardier.
He knows what it is. He just doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to look at a list right now and going, is that one?
Yeah,
That one? That one?
He's
It's not Do It Again. It's not Reeling in the Years. It's
And time's up just as he starts typing. Change of
Yep,
the guard.
there he goes.
Yeah.
All right. Change of the guard.
Is that Rick's first
All right,
guess?
Ricks, good job.
That's his first one.
Yay, congratulations.
Yes,
You
indeed.
got to give him applause for that one. That's a good job. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's number 5.
Getting on in years.
Yeah, we're reeling in the years.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Mm,
Doesn't even
Doesn't even
sound
sound familiar to me. Okay, well, that happens. Caesar got it.
Plays a song we can slow dance on.
Wow.
There you
Look
go.
at this.
You want to
You've been a
announce?
member for 8 months?
Yes, sir.
Man, you're one of the originals.
Well,
All right.
I believe I'm pretty sure I just gave out a free sub to your,
Free membership.
yes.
So somebody that's online may have got a notification about getting a free subscription to
Shortly.
my membership channels. If you did, feel free to join. Maybe it was Caesar.
Yep. Hope to see you.
Rick's. That's an interesting comment. I like that. Rick's just said that's a sitar. That's a choral guitar. Sorry, sounds like a sitar. In that, it's a dancer. You have a dancer in there. Okay, I got you. Gotcha. Cool.
Okay. You got touch me when you're dancing.
Touch me when you're dancing. So how many does Caesar have now?
He's got 3.
3. Okay, so you're 2 more and you'll be in. So, all right. So Dave's at 4, Caesar's at 3. We got a few new people tonight. That's good.
Is that the Carpenters' Touch Me When You're Dancing?
It is. Carpenter's Touch Me When You're Dancing.
Oh, so that was correct. So that gives him 4.
Oh, he gets him 4. Okay, then you're at 4, buddy. You only need
Yes.
1.
And he's done for the night, as is everyone else.
Oh, it looks like Shy Lights. Have you seen her probably? And yeah, I recognize that guitar. Yeah, I recognize it. Nice, great information, Caesar. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So next week we definitely can have some winners of records next week, and Caesar, you just need 1. That's all. That's a good deal.
Absolutely.
Okay, 90s or 2000. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for me.
Yeah.
Send me all the high dollar ones, right? Is this, it's
Yeah, what the heck?
90s or 2000s. Well, maybe I'll send you the replacements. Can replace something else you have. So that's
I think I have a couple that are from the 1890s.
78 shellac.
Yes, I do have a rather large collection.
Do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of it's classical.
Is it?
Yep. Some of it's opera. Yep.
Neat. Let me get ready to pull up something here real quick. Image
Don't
file.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, cranberry sauce. Yeah, you'll be happy with your OG.
There we go. So we'll be debuting on Wednesday, the 11th, this coming Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. Louis V and myself on the debut episode of Chasing Better Sound. So we're going to talk about. Oh, cranberry sauce is here. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Think I'll stick with my OG. Okay, that's fair. It's worth sticking with if you got a good copy. That's for sure.
Oh,
So yeah,
absolutely.
we'll be a 1 hour show discussing equipment, and we're going to start out talking about various terms and clarifying those, and talk about how we got to where we are with our systems, each in our own world, what we have. And part of this path we're going to do is we're going to be at Expona in April as well. So we'll be talking about gear we see there as well. So let's see what's Rick's. I tuned out after the late 80s for the, yeah, I get that. Mine went down. What's Louis' experience with audio? Well, you're going to have to listen and find out. We're all
Yeah.
going to find out on Wednesday, because I know him from the channel that he has, but I hadn't really heard how he got where he got into it. So I'm going to be learning that as well. So it's up on my page if you want to put a notification up for it. Somebody he said he got the Vinylphyle spilt milk jellyfish. Excellent. That's good. Yeah, thank you, Lee. Free mochas. All right, that's what we got
All
to
right.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be at Expona, Andy. Cool. Wow. Yeah, we'd love to meet you. Please. He sold audio in 70s to 80s. Krell, Threshold, mostly Mission, NAD, Rega, B&W. Well, I run NAD, so I'm a NAD-aholic. So
I
the
run a
word
rig.
dynamic headroom is very important to me. Not just in recordings, but in equipment as well. So it's been great. Well, thanks everybody
Same
for
here.
coming on board tonight, and we'll catch you next week on this show. And on Wednesday, I'll see you at 8 Central with Louis for Chasing Better Sound. For now, from the Audio Quest for Nick in Louisiana, thank you, Nick. And David here in Texas. Take care, everybody. Have a great
you,
week.
David.
See y'all. Bye-bye.